I'm from Join the Impact Chicago, which is a local LGBTQ activist group here in Chicago. And I'm here today really just to tell you my story. And so I have a few things to tell you, a couple of stories. And I know that everything that I'm going to tell you today, you've already heard from other people in other places and other audiences. Because as activists, all we're doing is telling our stories over and over and over again, especially to people who don't want to hear it. And I'm so pleased that you all are here today, and I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out, because you do want to hear our stories. And I want you to hear my story, and I want you to go out and tell your story, and tell your neighbor's story, and tell your son's stories, and tell your daughter's stories. Call everyone you know and tell them to tell their stories as well. Because my story is not a unique story. It's really the story I feel of my family history, and I mean the family that I joined when I came out. This day is not just today. This day is so long in coming, way before me. And so many, big lobbying groups in this country, waited on marriage equality. They said, just wait. Now's not the time. But activists didn't wait. People didn't wait. People went out and filed lawsuits, and they got arrested in marriage bureaus. And they protested, and they paraded, and they petitioned for years and years and years, and they didn't want to wait. And who are these activists? They were people in love. And that's what we are. We're activists, and we're people in love. You're an activist when you speak up. So the story that I'm going to tell you today is really just the story of my being in love. Occasionally someone, will ask me how my wife Lindsay and I got engaged. And we were living abroad, actually. This was 2009. We were living abroad, and by the time we went to bed, the news in Iowa, the Varnum v. Bryan case, the news hadn't broke yet. The decision hadn't been made. So as soon as we woke up the next morning, I checked the internet. And I'm going to quote this directly. I read that the Iowa Supreme Court had ruled unanimously that, quote, "We are firmly convinced the exclusion of gay and lesbian people from the institution of civil marriage denies gay and lesbian people the equal protection of the law promised by the Iowa Constitution." Yeah. This is probably not the most romantic engagement story you've ever heard. Right? Nobody got down on one knee. 7 strangers thousands of miles away from where we were came to an agreement, and that's how we knew we were going to get married. And that makes me really happy and really, really angry. That makes me so angry that my love is political. That my romance story is a story of judges and lawyers and people getting arrested and people marching down the streets and writing letters to, local newspaper editorials. And so I have so much love and I have so much anger, and that's what keeps us fighting. Because for as long as this process takes, we have all the love and all the anger to keep fighting. Like Rick said, we're not tired. We're not tired. We have too much to be tired for. So the next story, in the summer of 2010, we had to go get our marriage license, and we had to go to Iowa to get it. Now, Lindsay is from Moline, Illinois, which is right across the river from Davenport, Iowa, which is where we're going to be getting married. So when we went to go get our marriage license, we decided to Lindsay decided, this is totally her idea, she's way smarter than I am. We decided to turn it into a protest. So we called it Marriage Within Walking Distance. Because it is absurd. It is absurd how close the county office in Moline is to, or in Rock Island, pardon me, is to the county office in Davenport. Do you know how far it is? 1 mile, flat. So we went to the marriage office in Illinois. We applied for a marriage license. They were very nervous but very polite, and said no, and we left. And we walked across the bridge, and they said yes. And I am so grateful that it was Iowa. Lindsay and I met in Iowa. We lived there for several years. I love Iowa. Iowa is sort of the place that holds me, and it's the place that I hold when I talk about the Midwest. And I'm so grateful that a place that we love so much is the place that recognizes our love. And it is so unfair that our home state does not do the same. A couple of years ago, I also went to Springfield to lobby for civil unions. I believe civil unions are a really positive step. It creates a lot of safety and security and stability for thousands and thousands of families in Illinois. Personally, it helped me get better health insurance. Politically, I think it was a big step in sort of changing the national map on marriage equality. Coincidentally, so civil unions passed in Illinois. That same weekend that the law went into effect was the weekend that we got married in Iowa. So as soon as we were married in Iowa, we also had a civil union in Illinois automatically. If we had not gotten married in Iowa, we would not get a civil union in Illinois. Civil unions are not enough. Civil unions, for all the benefits they've extended to families, and that's great. I don't want to denigrate that. But civil unions is a newly invented label for squeamish politicians to say, you know what, we recognize your relationship, we know you need the protection of the state, we know you deserve the benefits and costs of the system, but it puts us under a big sign that says, you're still too different from us. What we need is full equality, and we need it today, we need it this week, we need it Tuesday, we need it this session. And that's the legal side of things, and that's the fairness side of things, and that's the justice side of things. And I want to tell you one more thing before I go. Recently I was at a meeting at a sort of brand new LGBTQ ministry at St. Viator's Catholic Church on the northwest side. It's the parish I was born into. It's the parish I was baptized in. I received my first communion there. I was confirmed there. It's the church I still attend today. Brand new LGBTQ ministry there. Really good for them. I don't know how many of you are Catholic. I don't know how many of you are even religious. But Chicago is a somewhat Catholic town, so I'm sure you're at least familiar with the church's stance on gay marriage. I'm sure you're at least familiar that Cardinal George and his bishops put out a really nice letter this week urging the faithful Catholic to contact their legislatures and tell them the Catholic stance on gay marriage. And I hope they do. Nationwide polling shows that Catholics are 40% in favor of gay marriage. When you include marriage or civil unions, Catholics are 70% in favor because people of faith believe in families, all families. And so this is a special message to the religious out there as well. Listen to the Cardinal. Call your legislators. Tell them what you think God thinks about gay marriage. Because I'm telling you right now what I told my priest a couple weeks ago at that ministry, what I'd love to tell the Cardinal, and what I tell my legislators when I call them. This is the most sacred thing of which I'm capable. This marriage to my wife, our love and our devotion and our commitment, this is what is sacred. This is what's important. And this is what I'm asking all of us to call our legislators about, tell your stories, and this is what we're asking them to vote on. Thank you very, very much for being here today. Please go out, keep fighting. God bless you all. Thank you.